let's talk about Dove for a moment. Dove, the soap. Now, talking about like, are they doing good or are they just appearing good? Well, I think in general, I have to say this, that I know that Dove for a very long time have actually tried to, display the average model, the average person as their model on their advertisements and stuff like that. And they've tried to do good things for skincare, for diverse skin types and stuff. I know they've actually, I give it to them, for many years, and before woke was actually cool, they were definitely doing some good and trying to appear that way. However, we can all have one or two mistakes, and it's okay. We're not going to hate on Dove. But I think that this is a good example of something that we as leaders need to be very, very careful of, is are we doing good or we're just trying to appear good? That maybe it's gone a little bit too far. Well, there was this podcast that I saw the other day from Chris Williamson. He's actually, I only just came across him the other day, and he's actually got a really, really interesting podcast, gets some really interesting guests on, has some really intelligent conversations. This one was actually a surprising, intelligent conversation with Mark Norman. Mark Norman is a comedian. Not someone you would think would have an intelligent conversation. He doesn't. He tries to play up that he's done, but he actually has a very, very intelligent conversation here. And what they're talking about here is the new Dove ad, where they're trying to chase down the gamers, and they're talking about this new Dove ad, which has actually had this superhero has been out fighting in the game. And she's hot. She's got this great body and everything like that. She comes back in, and then she starts taking off her armor, and she becomes this this plus size, or maybe they're trying to say a normal sized woman. And they're talking about how it's interesting. Actually, Mark Norman brought up the point: is this virtue signaling, or is this activism? They're trying to say that, well, there's not, that women are underrepresented in games, and women are only represented as these extreme beauty, extreme figures with big, voluptuous and full head of hair and full other things and everything like that. And yeah, see me tiptoe around that topic, right, Dr. Rod? I think I did it right, quite well. But we were talking about all these characters, and they're saying, well, there's all this pressure on women to have this perfect body and all this sort of stuff. And so this was apparently Dove's approach to try to make it better. Try to go, well, you don't have to actually have the great body to do it. You can be normal sized as well. I think that they bring up this good point of, like, are they virtually signaling, or are they actually really positively, doing activism? Because I think that this is quite contradictory, and they actually mentioned this in this podcast as well, Dr. Rod. But I find it very interesting that they talk about the plus size women, or the women that look way too good, or the Barbie dolls that look way too good and fake and everything like that. But I don't ever remember a G.I. Joe or a Ken doll not being ripped with six-pack, big pecs and big muscly arms. And I don't play video games, but I know I've seen some video games, and most of the male characters on there are also quite gigantic, actually, quite muscular, and quite, obviously this is fantasy. That's the whole thing. What do you think the point of? Do you think that this is activism or virtual signaling?
No, it's advertising.
It's advertising.
It's advertising. They're obviously trying to attract a market. Otherwise, why would they do it? I don't know whether they're trying to shift cultural values or anything like that. And look, in a way, it's a bit of a joke, really, because how many women are going to ever be able to do the kinds of things you see the superhero women do in movies or in the game? So for a start, even if you're thin as a woman or whatever, you're never going to be able to actually achieve what those people achieved. And look, the same goes for the men. You mentioned it. Have a look at the men as they're depicted in these games, and have a look at what the men do in the superhero movies. I caught my wife watching one a week or so ago, and I sat there thinking, there's one guy, he defeats like 25 men with guns and all, and there's no way in this wide world anybody would have the physical capacity to still be standing at the end. It was just an absolute, like, great entertainment. Most of us have got enough of a brain to realise that that's what it is.
Yes.
So, look, I don't think Dove is going to be able to change people's attitudes. People mostly realise that this is all make-believe. They may be trying to capture a segment of the market. Good on them. You know, go ahead, spend your money on the advertising. They got a bit of free publicity in any case.
From us.
I'm aware of it now. I wasn't before. But I probably wouldn't read too much into it. But you do need to be aware, though, from a leadership perspective, that the way you advertise could actually influence people. Because the whole point about advertising is to influence people to buy your product. And advertising may cause some people to act in certain ways as well.
But is it, why is there this, I might expose myself here and I might get a lot of hate mail about this, but I look at their character, right? That character that they presented. That woman who went out at the end, now, this may be a gross generalization, but someone who is of that size has limited range of motion, so wouldn't be able to fight effectively. Obviously, generalization here that doesn't do much exercise being that size. I know that there are some women that they are larger size and they exercise and they have great health and everything like that, but I know like that just doesn't represent the type or the body type that I know. Okay, my background is in exercise science. I am an exercise scientist. I did study human movements at university, and so I understand about range of motion and physical limitations on bodies, and the larger bodies definitely have more limitations. So what's this whole thing? It frustrates me, and so I need to get off my high horse about it. But it frustrates me with this, like, everyone's beautiful plus size, and we've got to, it's healthy, and it's like, but it's not. Now, I'm not saying it's. I also agree it's not healthy to be ripped like a bodybuilder, right? That's unhealthy as well, right? And like models on runways and stuff like that, trying to be that. I know that's unhealthy as well. Like, don't get me wrong, but I love exercise. I love looking after my body. I know that I can maintain a healthy body and look good and stuff like that. But it frustrates me that there's this whole push on, look, you can be any body type. Don't worry about your body type, but you can still do anything. But you can't.
Of course you can't. And even if you had that ideal body type, you still wouldn't be able to do it.
Yes.
Humanly impossible. So my guess is this was dreamed up by advertisers, not experts on human movement.
Yes.
And I think that's basically all you can read into it. But look, they're tapping into a sentiment. I think it goes by the name of fatism or something like that, where people are now saying, hey, listen, don't tell us being fat's not healthy for us. It's okay to be fat. Frankly, we know it's not healthy. Mm-hmm. And most of us will benefit from losing a few kilos. Look, I know my own case. My doctor said to me, hey, Rod, lose 10% of your weight over the next 12 months. I didn't. And I didn't over the following 12 months. No, but hang on, let me finish. I didn't over the next 12 months. Then I had high blood pressure and he put me on high blood pressure pills. And then I thought, no, I don't want to be on high blood pressure pills. So my health insurance company rang me and said, hey, we've got this program Would you like to sign up for it? It won't cost you anything. It was actually worth thousands of dollars because I got everything for free. I didn't have to pay for anything. And I thought, well, you know what? I actually need someone to goad me. So I got onto the program. I lost 10 kilos. I put a bit back on, but I was, on the whole, I managed to keep 7 kilos off. And guess what?
That's awesome.
I'm not on blood pressure pills anymore.
So
good. Of course there's a health benefit.
Over 7 kilos.
Yeah.
7 kilos.
Well, that's not that much, but...
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's not much. And for 7 kilos, you were able to change your health.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, it's not about trying to get ripped and lose 20, 30 kilos. You found what was healthy because now you've been able to manage that and be able to
But listen, we're living in an age where we've decided we're just going to ignore truth. We're going to ignore the science. We ignore the science on so many things. Yeah. And then we belt people over the head and say the science is settled and all these other things, which is a load of rubbish. And look, we're not educated. People should be educated. So hang on a minute. Don't tell me that the science is settled, or don't try to tell me that what we've known for the last 30 years and can demonstrate easily is no longer true.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
Grow up.
I mean, that's what I love about having my degree. Although I'm not officially doing anything with my degree, understanding the science,
you're using it right now.
I use it every day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so we need to educate ourselves. That's probably a good message of leaders. Like, we need to understand the science behind what we're doing, whether it be the physics of the business, whether it be the finances or whatever, the science behind what you're doing. You need to understand it. But also, let me throw this out as a challenge. How are you meant to classify yourself as a leader that's disciplined, that's driven, that achieves goals, and yet you let your health fade? And yet you don't let you might be a little bit overweight. And there's a little bit of a pet peeve of, like, there's leaders that they're not leading in all areas of their life. Now, I know that there's health issues and there's certain things that there's limitations. Well, like, that's fine. But I think that if we call ourselves leaders, we have to be able to display those leadership skills, discipline, vision, ability to be able to drive towards a goal, delayed gratification, all those sorts of things that make leaders good. We need to be able to carry those on in all areas of our life. We can't just apply it. It needs to be something who we are. And when it is something who we are, that means it will find itself in all areas of our life. Obviously, I've got back issues. I've got actually health issues that limit what I can do, but I still am quite disciplined with my diet, my exercise, because I want to make sure all areas of my life are good and that I'm using those leadership skills like discipline and all those things that I've listed 1,000 times, that I'm using those in all areas. And so my challenge to you as a leader, are you using all of your leadership skills, all of your leadership discipline, are you using that in all areas of your life, in your finances, in your health, in your marriage, in your relationship with Christ, like what, in all areas of your life? You need to be displaying leadership, not just at work. And so that's my challenge to you. I hope that, hey, and if you feel like taking up that challenge, put a comment below or something like that. Like, go, yeah, Craig, you challenge me. I'm going to step it up in my health. I'm going to step it up in my marriage. I'm going to step it up in my finances. Like, whatever. Like, there's always areas that are lacking. I know there's always an area that needs more attention, but we need to make sure if we're going to be true leaders that are going to actually make positive influence in our communities, we need to be displaying that leadership in all areas of our lives. Hey, you just watched an excerpt from the On the Cube Leadership Podcast. If you like that, hit the like button and put a comment below. Hey, if you want to watch more videos like this, check out our channel, and while you're there, make sure you subscribe.